Check, check. 1 2 1 2. All right, we ain't got that much time, so let's just go ahead and get this thing popping. What's up? Jay Dizzle, the B1 Truth Bomber. Okay, the mic is good. Mic is good. The B1 Truth Bomber. We're gonna go ahead and get into a couple different stories because of I went live when the shooting, the assassination attempt of Donald Trump first went down, and because it was like just unfolding, I didn't have all my thoughts together, or at least there wasn't enough information to really give a good analysis of my thoughts behind it. So I want to do that today. And I also want to go over some different ideas and theories going on. Also want to address, like, what does all of this mean for FBA? What should our stance be when it comes to Trump or the Republican Party or even the Democratic Party? Like, what would be a good way to move forward? What kind of times are we in right now that we really have to recognize? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are we right now? Energy wise, spiritually wise. You know what I'm saying? The time, the days and times that we're living in. And I think this is important, especially for like where's my Israelite brothers and sisters at? My Muslims and Christians and spiritualists, those who practice hoodoo and voodoo. I want y'all to really tap into your true belief system. What do you really believe? Because if you believe we're in the last days and times, if you believe in karma, if you believe like these ideologies that you represent, then it shouldn't be hard for you to recognize the fact that where we're at right now is somewhere that we've never been. Where we're at is where you should know we were heading for years now. There's going to be some things that are stranger than fiction. There's going to be energies that are going to come back accelerated. That's the first story I'm going to get into. I'm going to get into this sister named Dagod, who was unalived in Oakland the other day. I know a lot of people ain't heard of her. I ain't really heard of her until this situation happened. But I want to get into that too. Because I want us to understand and just really reflect on the fact that we are dealing with an accelerated karmatic force. We are dealing with things that are happening for a reason that we may not understand or fully be able to digest right now. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, there's ways that we have to make sure that we move. There's understanding that we have to make sure that we are tapped into. The codification of our people is of the utmost importance right now. How we deal with our personal lives and personal endeavors is of the utmost importance to really understand and practice right now. And that means that we could do good things, and that means that there's going to be a lot of evil coming our way. I got a homie, he used to say, new level, new devil. Meaning that when you start to progress and you start to elevate, the enemies that come at you will be that much greater. They'll be that much more sophisticated. They'll be that much more powerful. And we kind of see that because the more momentum that we start to get with our delineation process, our demands for reparation and justice, the more they throw at us, the more mainstream starts coming against us, the more they put coons and tethers against us. Hell, they got a whole program, a whole COINTELPRO, which I showed you last time I went live. They got a whole program dedicated to trying to neutralize what we're doing from the grassroots level. So you already know how real it's getting. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to I don't really have that much time, y'all. So let me go ahead and get to the first thing I wanted to talk about, man. The first thing I wanted to bring forth to this conversation. Let me make sure all this is set up right. So like I said, there's a rapper, Dagod from Oakland, I believe, who was just unalived the other day. Let's go ahead and get to that first. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get to the story.
A local female rapper was killed in a shooting in Oakland. This was Saturday during the grand opening of a beauty store. Another person was injured. Police are still trying to find the shooter. KRON 4's Sarah Stinson has that story.
Family and friends gathered outside Glamour Beauty Supply in Oakland Sunday, many in tears as they paid tribute to local female rapper and entrepreneur Dagod. They confirmed to KRON 4 she was shot and killed at a grand opening event for the beauty store Saturday. Tan posted on Instagram just before the shooting.
Here, I got Granny in a cut, don't play with it.
She also promoted the event a week before, saying she would be at Glamour Beauty for a meet and greet. Shots rang out at the strip mall on 40th Street and Telegraph Avenue around 5 p.m. People ran into this donut shop to take cover.
I heard some shooting. I thought it was part of like their music.
A man who works there who does not want to be identified described the chaotic scene.
I just saw like 2 or 3 people start running into my store and like, they're shooting. And people started pulling out of the parking lot and people were just running around. And as soon as I stepped outside, the cops were pretty much already here.
Oakland police say when they arrived, paramedics found one gunshot victim who died at the hospital. Another gunshot victim arrived at a nearby hospital sometime later. Police say that person is expected to be okay. They're still working to identify the shooter. No arrests have been made. A man who works at a Korean restaurant nearby witnessed the shooting.
Just this guy with the hoodie came by and started shooting. And that was it. And he just ran away. The police came.
Bay Area rapper and philanthropist Mr. Fab posted about the shooting, saying he was booked to be at the same event, but, quote, God had different plans. He also posted saying he would always remember Tan as a hustling go-getter with a world of ambition, drive, and courage. I'm Sarah Stinson reporting in Oakland, KRON 4 News.
All right, so that's a sad event. That's a sad, thing to see that even the women are not safe. Especially because I guess she was lit. I don't know too much about the sister, but I guess she was like a lit rapper. She was doing her thing. She was hustling. She was locally known, starting to pop off. And she was opening a beauty store, which to me, that's a smart move. I like to see that move because I like natural women personally. I don't like all the extra makeup, the weave, the wigs, none of that. I'm not for that personally. However, women have the right to do how they do. And something that I've said in the past is that, hey, sisters, if y'all going to do that, at least try to control the market. I mean, billions of dollars are being spent to outsiders who don't even respect you, because a lot of times these Koreans will slap you up in these streets. They'll beat you down and accuse you of stealing or give you poor service. So it's good to see that this sister was actually looking to, open up her own beauty supply shop. Now, we know, if you've done any looking into it, we know that a lot of times what these Koreans will do is they won't sell. They won't do wholesale to Black store owners. Or if they do, they'll do it at a, increased price because they don't want you to be able to compete with their people. This is something that, is known to happen in the beauty supply business because they want to control the market. Even though they know that we're 95% of the customer base, they want to control the market. And that is something that we have to combat, especially if we're going to spend the billions in it. If the women ain't going to go natural, which would save a lot of money, but if you're not going to do that, at least try to identify Black-owned businesses for your needs and or open up businesses, even though we know that's going to be challenging. So the fact that she was smart enough to parlay some of her momentum that she was getting in the rap game into transitioning or at least just broadening her hustle, spreading her hustle around, that shows how smart she was in that regards. Well, let's see what this next story is saying. I think this is a song of hers. Okay, yeah, this is a song of
You've
hers.
been sentenced to 7 years for smoking on your ex and having.
All right, I guess they already spoiled it for me. So, okay, so as sad as what happened is, a little bit of a backstory that we're going to get into. Unless we got one more video doing. Now let's go ahead and maybe get this last video in first. Let's get this last. Nah, because they're going to go into it anyway. So I guess I might as well say it just to set context. So the story behind the situation of her unaliving is that she apparently got into it with her ex. And she claims in self-defense, she had to shoot him. She had to unalive him. Right. And that's fair, right? I don't know the story. I'm just going by what, has been reported. Listen, if she had to do that in self-defense, then that's what we call justified homicide, meaning that she took a life, but it was justified because it was to save her own. Maybe he was abusive, whatever, out of pocket, threatening her life. Her life was in danger. She felt she had to protect herself. Okay, that's fair, right? And even his family would probably agree if that was the case. Like, if you lose one of your loved ones and you know that they were on some bullshit, they were in the middle of some bullshit, you might be able to let it slide. Now, not everybody's going to be able to let that slide. Some people, they don't care. But in most cases, people can let it slide. If you know that your homie, your loved one, your family was abusing his girl and he took it too far and one day she retaliated or she protected herself, you might be able to let that go. You might be able to have some type of understanding to that. Not everybody, but most people probably would. The problem with this sister is, as smart as she was, and I'm going to show you some more footage, is that she started bragging and trolling after she killed him. So she unalived them, and then she started trolling and bragging and making songs and came out with a line of blunt raps called X-Pack, smoking on my X-Pack. She started doing interviews, trolling, not just disrespecting him, but you're going to see in a minute, she also was disrespecting the family of the deceased in Oakland. So here's my thing. Look, like I said before, if you believe in some of these spiritual concepts, this karmatic forces, these what kind of days we're in, eye for eye, then you have to understand that type of energy is going to come back. And if you understand the time and what must be done, then you also understand right now we're in an accelerated karmatic force right now, globally. Things are going on in this world right now. It's getting more and more unstable and out of control. And some of these karmatic forces are coming back accelerated. Like we have been seeing lately, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these drill rappers have been coming up, gone. They've been just coming up, getting smoked out there. And a lot of the backstories behind them getting smoked is that they were out there doing the most and then bragging about it. They're taking pictures at their ops grave sites. They're sending messages and pictures to the deceased friends and family. They're making songs and videos about it. They're doing interviews, bragging and trolling. The next thing you know, something happens to them. This is what happened to young Fulio, I think, out of Jacksonville, Florida. Right? He killed some of his ops. Then he started making songs. He started making videos, dancing on their graves, stuff like that. And like, listen, how do you not think that this is going to come back to you? Especially at the time, if you really understand what times we're in now, then you know these kind of things are coming back at a force like never before. We are in what some people call the last days and times. I don't mean of the Earth's physical existence. I mean of the world that we live in now. Things are happening right now to set up something that's the bigger picture. I've heard these Israelites, and I used to be one of them, talking about the curse is over, talking about the world is coming to an end as far as Satan's rule, as we called it. if you believe that there's going to be a seismic shift in the order of this world, then you have to understand that there's going to be things that's going to happen. It's going to get crazy before it gets better. And some things are going to happen that you might not understand, which we'll get into later with this Trump situation. Because for him to miraculously evade an assassination, some type of force was behind him for that to happen. You can call it what you want. God protected him, the universe, whatever. It just so happens the way he turned his head at the right time. We'll get into all that later, because I don't want you to think that because something happens, because someone gets fortunate enough to evade certain things, it's because that person is being blessed. It could be because something is being set up for something bigger later, and we'll get into that later. But back to this Tan the God sister who was off. And a lot of the things that we're seeing in this drill rap. And I'm not, condemning drill rap or nothing like that. All I'm saying is just understand the way things are going right now and the way these karmatic forces are at play. Some of these things that people thought they can get away with just ain't popping anymore. You cannot go out there offing your ops and then making songs bragging about it and think that there's not going to be any retaliation. Like the disconnect from some of our people right now to what time it is just crazy. It's crazy to think that you'd be able to get away with that, or you would even do that for the clout of selling records. Like you wanted the buzz and the attention so bad that you would do things that would put your life in danger. Things that you just know ain't what it is. So yes, she got, unfortunately, she got taken out the game. I think she was like 27 while trying to open up a beauty store. But the backstory, is that she did kill her ex-boyfriend in self-defense, but she didn't leave it there. She started trolling and disrespecting him and his family. But anyway, I think this is like one of her videos right here. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Bitch, we the ones that got the motion in this brand new car, been the whip is like a stolen. I be smoking on my ex, and that's the pack that got me choking. Mad nigga about to stress me, I'ma stay thick. I'ma treat a nigga so ice cold that he gon' stay sick. Do a nigga 4 times wrong, I sit to play with. Tell my bitch, don't be checking your phone, you better not post it, cause we up 1,000 push. You try to play me like the rest, but you just turn my savage, yeah, we in the club. Targeting on the thugs and niggas paying for attention, but they know they cannot fuck, cause his body is a Benz truck. I can get your man shut. I sit the baddest bitch, she got the pay, you got your man fuck. Lurking on my page, oh that's right, she a fan, her and they be in the comments with that, oh I cannot stand her. Another hater for collection. I'm a surgeon with this tool to leave a body up in sex. Bad bitches in all white, and we gotta keep a weapon. I be asking for some money, only time I'm asking questions. Bad bitches bout to bust it wide. I be a pick me ass bitch, and we the ones that got some motion in this brand new car. Finna whip it like a stolen. I be smoking on my ex, and it's the fact that got me choking. Long as a bitch got legs, I stand on everything I said. I be smoking on my ex, bitch, that relationship is dead. I don't never feel the shade, but I see bitches got it shit. I ain't worried about my ex, I put that pussy on his head, bitch. I put that 90 on his top. I got the cash kid, and then he blew me on my socks. In a circle full of hoes, and I'ma be about the box. Keep them scamming ass niggas who be keeping all of the blocks, ayy. And we the ones that got the motion, making bitches seasick when your neck the ocean. Keeping hoes confused, cause I show it no emotion. You ain't gotta do a lot when you know that you really chosen. Keeping bitches on their 10 toes after I left my wrist roll. Somebody tell that dumbass bitch that I had bitch hoes. I chose to get this money, and he chose to fuck a bro. Gave me revenge with pussy, bitch, I know that that's a no-no. Bad bitches bout to bust it wide open. Nigga pick me ass bitch, and we the ones that got emotion in this brand new car. Finna whip it like a stolen. I be smoking on my ex, and it's the pack that got me choking. Bad bitches bout to bust it wide open. Bad
Realize my ex. Listen, you should have never died. you should have never played with me, because then I gotta take it to the 3rd degree.
right, so what you can't see, I couldn't find the video, but what you can't see, because this is just a short, is what she's pointing to and referring to as a tombstone with her ex's name on it. So what she's doing right now, she's trolling the fact that she killed her ex, and she's really trolling and disrespecting him and the family. That's what the smoking on my ex pack. She's saying she's smoking on her ex pack. She even made some like raps for that. Some, not raps, just lyrical raps, but she made some blunt raps called X Pack. So she's really doing the most and putting out this energy that you would think anybody would know karmatically is gonna come back to you, especially if you're on that street shit. It's a shame that, you know, a lot of people, a lot of these youngsters and these rappers are putting their life on the line for some clout and some fame to sell records, as if the record sales matter when you're not here no more. So I'm gonna show you this short.
Like, so when I look at this little tombstone tone, I be like, man, it's like, it's crazy. So September 23rd is like the day I dropped Pond and Top. You know what I'm saying? So I had to put that on there. Well, not really. Really, it's 3 years ago I dropped Pond and Top. This like the anniversary, and I just happen to have court on this day. Everything just came together. So I got this to be extra fucking childish, making families mad. And oh well, because they ain't gonna do shit about it.
So she just said making families mad, talking about his family. Oh well, they ain't gonna do nothing about it. Like, that's rich, sis. That was real rich. That's real uncalled for. Like I said, if what she did was in self-defense, that's justifiable. Some people still would retaliate based on that, but some people would have some type of understanding like, hey, if my folks was in the wrong, it is what it is. But then when you go around making songs about it, making products about it, bragging about it, laughing about it, trolling about it, disrespecting the dead and their family, you would think that you would know that that could come back on some street shit, even if you don't understand the spiritual aspect of disrespecting the dead like that. And she said, ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it.
Smoking on that Axwood pack.
Oh yeah, you know it. Matter of fact, I got to smoke on this dead motherfucker as we speak. Hold up. Hold on. Let me get my little backwood. Here lies my ex. Listen, you should have never died. you should have never played with me, because then I gotta take it to the 3rd degree. You know? Like.
And here's the thing. Like, she's not a bad looking sister, right? She's charismatic. She has personality. She has character. She's smart. That's why she was opening up a beauty supply store. She was smart enough to spread her hustle around. She was smart enough to do what she had to do to get it popping on the underground, you know, in the music game. I might not particularly like her type of music, but that is the type of music that is selling, that is known to be hot for a particular demographic right now. So she was in her lane doing her thing, and then she did some shit that was lame and got tamed. And that's just really what it is. I can't really say I feel too sorry for somebody. It is a sad situation. It's sad what's going on in these streets in this regard. However, if you're playing with these spiritual forces, if you're playing with people's emotions and people's families, and you're quote unquote killing your ops, you got to think that somebody's going to feel some kind of way about that. Like I said, if she just laid low, like, yeah, it was self-defense, left it alone, did her thing, just kept making her music, opened up her store, did her thing, she probably could still be here right now. And I just want y'all to understand. I understand that just from whatever perspective you could understand it. Because, I mean, there's a reason why they say you put out negative energy, it's going to come back. And this is even in, it doesn't have to be something this dramatic, but I'm just saying, period. Like, even I've been reassessing some of the energy that I put out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just not the entertainment. Because I like to troll these white supremacists. I love to troll these white supremacists and piss them off. or some of these Drake stands and somebody, you know what I'm saying, on social media. I like to do that bullshit sometimes. I like it. I can't lie. But, you know, I was just watching this little Nipsey Hussle the other day, and I really started, you know what? It's why put out that type of energy? Because it's always going to come back. It may not come back the way you think it's going to come back. It may not come back to you. It may just come back in your direction. It's like you throw a boomerang. The boomerang doesn't always come exactly back to you, but it's coming back in your direction. So why put the negative out there instead of putting something productive and positive out there? That way, when it does come back, even if it don't hit you, it might hit somebody close to you. Like, these are just the ways we got to start recalibrating how we think. It's a level up time. I'm speaking to my FBA brothers and sisters and anybody else who could dig the message. It's level up time. It's time to start thinking bigger than self. It's time to start thinking more than just the physical matter, but the spiritual as well, the energy. That's why it's important, like what we do when we're staying codified and we're signal boosting certain messages, we're trying to put the energy out. I don't get that many views. I only have 1,100 subscribers. But if I could still signal boost the message, I'm still putting the energy out into the universe. Somebody's going to feel it. So the same way we collectively have to do that, we have to also do that on an individual level. We have to understand like what we're playing with and not be playing with things that we fully don't understand or that we really don't want it with. Because I have a feeling that she wouldn't have been doing all this if she knew for a fact it was going to lead to her demise. She thought it was a game. And she's not the only one. I'm not picking on her. She's not the only one. A lot of these young drill rappers and some of these cats out here do the same kind of things. We've seen the trolling. The trolling is at an all-time high. And it's one thing when you're trolling for fun and jokes. It's another thing when you're playing with stuff like people's relatives who have passed on at your hands. Then it gets real. But one more video though. Let me see. Let's get one more before we get into the main story.
So a female rapper that goes by the name of Dagod is in the news right now because she pretty much turned her ex-boyfriend to a pack. Now, maybe he was trying to abuse her, making threats to her, something like that, and it leveled up to the point to where she felt as if in order to defend herself, she had to turn him into a pack. Now, she's definitely on trial for her right now, and she's claiming self-defense. But the crazy part about all this is she has turned Killing Buddy into a marketing campaign for her.
So this was 9 months ago when she was on trial for the killing of her ex.
Mixtape. Now, you know how you be joking online, you see some crazy stuff like the dude done robbed 50 people and got arrested, and you be like, okay, well, he need to just beat his trial and get out and do a mixtape, drop a project. Just joking. Well, she took the joking part to the extreme and is literally on a marketing campaign right now for killing her ex. Not even just that, right? So on the front of her project, of the Dagod project, she pretty much called it Ex Wood Pack. You know, I'm talking about like smoking an op pack, but itself is her ex in the wood. And she got a picture of them both on the front cover with his face burning as if it's a blunt. Hold on. I'm going to get into more details right after the intro. Check it out, man. All right. Keep outside and make sure you like the video because it helps me out with the algorithm. But let's get back to Miss Dagod. So pretty much she clapped her boyfriend. She's doing interviews all about, you know, talking about what's going down. Probably not shouldn't be talking about that, but she is giving slight details about it. Actually, here goes the audio clip of her, you know, kind of just bragging and talking. First of all, before I play that, this reminds me of the BTB Savage situation where he killed his op. He pretty much did it in self-defense, so he was able to get off. But he took a picture and posted the picture, like, you know, of his op's blood on the door. And then, like, once he actually took that picture and posted it online, they ended up spinning back and killing him. She definitely going to have to be careful. But here's an audio clip of her pretty much slightly talking about it.
So like I said, that's way out of line. And we're seeing more and more of that. And it's not even smart from a legal perspective. Like, even if you beat the case, it's not smart from a legal perspective when you start doing that, because now you're putting eyes on you. Like you're trying to get the attention for record sales, but understand that, you know what I'm saying, these police and these agents, they're also watching. So they're watching the attitude. that you're putting out after you beat the case because of it's justified. But when they see your actions afterwards, when they see your attitude and your character afterwards, they're going to put you in scrutiny and wait for any single thing that they can. So if you fuck up again, they're going to play back all of this at the trial. Like, this is the state of mind that this person is in. And then from a bigger level, you're also representing us. And you already know that our ops, mainstream media, police, feds, white supremacists, they love to take the lowest denomination of our people and represent that as it's all of us. So it's not good representation for the whole, but it's also detrimental to you as an individual, because for one, you're going to attract that energy back. You're going to have people that's looking at you like you're disrespecting them, and you've already deleted one of theirs. And that's already going to cause, the need or the want of vengeance and retaliation. But also, you're now blowing up the spot for police and law officials or whatever, law enforcement, that's going to look at you some kind of way, that's going to put you on a list that, hey, we might as well just keep track, because, it's one thing if you had to defend yourself and then you just humbled yourself and got out the way. It's another when you're trying to market off the shit. And even if they can't legally get you for it, they're going to just wait for you to slip up, and they're going to use all that against you. Plus, it may cost you some type of money with corporate sponsors if you're trying to take your music to that next level. Yeah, you might be able to still pop the trunk and sell some and get some type of hype off of that, but is that really worth it? Like, you're basically limiting how far you can go, because you think about it, a lot of these cats, they didn't go that damn far. They're doing all these shenanigans and trolling for attention, but how far does it really take them? Even if they don't get taken out the game, it don't really take them that far. But anyway, let's hear what she had to say.
That's the thing. Like, dead, like you're dead. Like, dead, dead.
Are we talking about like literally, or are we talking figuratively? I don't know what the hell's going on right now.
Laura did tell me not to talk about it.
Okay, you shouldn't talk about things like that on a
But
podcast.
sometimes you really don't have a choice. Like, I know females that never had a choice, and they was just popping up and threatening the whole family, and you threatening my people, everybody gonna die. Oh, is we? You gotta take about it. It just is what it is. Like, if somebody make an attempt on your life, or even make any weird, threatening weirdo.
One thing that I do have to ask is, like, how are you not afraid of like police, or did they like side with you on it? Or, like, how did you evade like any type of like consequence, basically?
We gonna find that out on September 23rd.
Okay.
You already know. Oh man. Oh my.
So what she's saying is that was before she even went to trial for it. So I mean, that's just pure foolishness, man. That's pure foolishness. Her lawyers told her not to talk about it. She's in an interview talking about it, bragging about it, and she still has court. Now, she still ended up beating the case for self-defense, but just think about not only the energy you put out there, but the attention that you put on yourself and who that attention is going to come from. In all of this to sell records. Yo, hey, when you got real business that you could do, when you have real talent, you don't have to play the games. You don't have to play the trolling games. You don't have to disrespect and do things for attention. You could just do what you do. She has the look. She has enough of talent. I mean, she's just as good as any of these other rappers that are the same, you know what I'm saying, in the same lane of hers. The Sexy Reds, the City Girl, whatever. She's just as good as them. She has this little buzz locally. She's smart, entrepreneur-minded. It wasn't necessary to troll her ex after she already deleted him. There's nothing good that can come from that.
Those, they gonna think this cocaine. This ain't no cocaine. New character unlocked. The sexy brown assassin. Because Tanda God, she might be a baddie, but Shawty is literally an assassin. You know what I'm talking about? Especially if you get on the bad side. Anyways, so she's pretty much telling all the other females, listen, ladies.
And then notice how all of these these blogs and platforms that will ag on the bullshit. They ag on the nonsense. They will let you get up there, almost push you to say some disrespectful, foul shit that they know could have a detrimental effect on you, not them. It's like the Vlad TV shit. They'll have you out there snitching on yourself to get him views, but what is that going to do for you? They'll have you disrespecting people, your ops, have you trolling them for attention to sell records, but putting you in danger, lining you up all the while. You know what I'm saying? So they're profiting off of our demise. But also, we are also falling for the bullshit and participating in the bullshit. I know this does not represent us as a whole. This is a very small segment of our society, but it still is there and it's still very detrimental. And because of internet, it gets popular and it gets influential because anything we do is influential, especially as FBAs. The whole world is influenced by us. So of course the youth is influenced by us. That's part of the delineation. Part of the delineation is delineating from the lowest realms of our own society. And maybe there's a cleanup that's happening right now. Maybe the universe is doing a cleanup right now. Maybe it's doing a sweep. Maybe it's getting the trash out the way. Because as charismatic and beautiful as this sister was, as talented as she was, as smart as she was, she had some demons in her. She was evil. You know what I'm saying? That you can't put it any other way. The devil comes in attractive suits sometimes attractive bodies are housing the spirit of the devil. This seems to be one of those cases.
If y'all, man, getting out of line at all, you know, talking about making threats towards you, doing any type of thing that's damaging, defend yourself to the max like I did, because this is all I know. Actually, she ended up posting a status pretty much saying she did what she knew. She felt like she was straight, and here's what she said. You really got to keep your hands to yourself, like Rashawn Rock said, bro. And instead of calling them people, I blew that. So the police, I don't give, y'all okay with them up playing crazy, but when we fight back, we facing time. I can't beat a man up, so I did what I know best.
I'm just saying there's a certain type of energy, certain kind of way you could say things. Like if she was justified in what she did, that's going to speak for itself. There's no need to pour gasoline on a smoldering fire, because you might get burnt. You throw gasoline on a fire, the wind could blow a different direction, and now you're in danger. So this is just craziness that this kind of stuff is being put on social media for the world to see. It's crazy that you're going to put this type of stuff out there as if he doesn't have a family that loves him. And the thing is, if you guys are together, that means that you know his family knows you and your family. So you're really putting a lot of different people in danger. This is the mentality right here that's pretty sickening. It's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. Yeah.
Anyways, so as more details come out about the sexy brown assassin Tan Dagod, I'm definitely gonna keep y'all updated. She's on trial right now, using the self-defense. If she beat it, I'll let you know. If she don't beat it, I'll let you know. But if she do beat it, I'm gonna tell you right now, she gonna take off. She gonna take off like a sexy red. You know what I'm talking about?
All right, so I mean, pretty much kind of giving her, you know. So one more time, I'm just gonna show you this one more time. This is her on an interview. You can't see it. It's out of the camera shot, but right to her right or your left is a tombstone with her ex's name on it.
So when I look at this little tombstone, I be like, man, it's crazy. So September 23rd is like the day I dropped Pond and Top. You know what I'm saying? So I had to put that on there. Well, not really. Really, it's 3 years ago I dropped Pond and Top. It's like the anniversary, and I just happen to have court on this day. Everything is.
So she's saying that she unalived them on September 23rd, 3 years ago, and her trial is coming up on the 23rd of September. That right there should kind of let you know that there's some type of you know what I'm saying, the timing of that, it should let you know something. I mean, you off them this day, and then on that same day you have court. Like, if that's not letting you know that there's some type of ancestral spiritual play at hand, you know what I'm saying? Justice on the way, even if it ain't from the courts. I mean, you know, if you're looking into this and you're really meditating and trying to understand, you should have seen that as some type of sign to not play with this, energy.
Came together. So I got this to be extra fucking childish, making families mad. And oh well, because they ain't gonna do shit about it.
Smoking on that Axwood pack.
Oh yeah, you know it. Matter of fact, I got the smoke on this dead motherfucker as we speak. Hold up. Hold on. Let me get my little backwood. Here, live.
And one more thing before we transition to the next story is, like, look, man, like, you got to have some people around you. You know what I'm saying? You have to have some people around you that have more wisdom or that care about you enough. And we have to be those people sometimes. You got that knucklehead cousin, that knucklehead homie, that knucklehead homegirl, whatever the case may be. So you might have to be that voice of reason, or that nudging, or that mentorship, or, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep people around you that don't just yes man you and let you believe like what you're doing is cool. You got to have those people around you that love you enough that they're going to tell you when you're veering off path or you're doing something that's goofy. Maybe she didn't have that. She damn sure didn't have it from these vloggers and these people that's interviewing her. They want to push her for the bullshit because it's going to get them clicks. And she's going to accept it because it's going to get her attention, which could lead to album sales and whatever. But obviously, I'm thinking that there was no one in her circle to let her know, like, hey, what are you doing? You need to knock that shit off. You need to holler back at the family and apologize and whatever. Or at least maybe have some understanding, like, hey, look, I'm just doing this for the clicks. I don't mean no disrespect. I don't know if that would have worked, but I mean, there has to be some type of decorum and some type of respect that you show in these type of situations, because it's not helping either way. It's a short-lived attention-grabbing tactic. So unfortunately, now she got Unalived this weekend, I believe. She's out of here. And as sad as it is, it's hard to feel sorry for somebody that would do that. But anyway, let's get to the main topic, man. What I really, really wanted to talk about was this Donald Trump situation, this MAGA, the black MAGA. My thoughts on it, how we should approach politically what has been going on. We all know what happened. I think it was Saturday. I went live when when they tried to assassinate Trump, when someone tried to assassinate Trump. A lot of theories going on. A lot of people have different thoughts. Some people think it was staged. Let's deal with that first. Now, when we speak staged, what exactly do you mean? Define in your own mind what you mean if you say it's staged, or if you say it's an inside job, or if you say it's a hoax. And if that's how you feel, then just look at it objectively and analytically, critically, of what makes sense. I understand why people would be of the mindset that it was some type of hoax, that maybe Donald Trump set it up for himself, or maybe the Democrats tried to get him, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, something of that nature. So let's go ahead and look at it. So first of all, if you think that it was a hoax, if you think that Donald Trump set this up himself to get more popularity and momentum in his campaign, and I said this Saturday, the same day when I even entertained that, I said that doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense for several reasons. Number one, it doesn't make sense. I'm going to show you a clip in a minute, because after that debate, he skyrocketed in numbers in the polls against Biden. Biden looked like a senile old fool. So it doesn't make sense. You can take the perspective that, okay, he's up, but this is how you put your foot on the gas. You do something crazy and big like that, and then that just brings it over the top. Okay, I could see that. But what I can't see is somebody putting themselves in a situation where they're going to trust a 20-year-old non-sniper with an AR-15 to take a shot at you. You can't tell me that you think that the whole plot was for the sniper just to hit his ear, because that's crazy. If anything, you could only say that, okay, he was just supposed to shoot in that direction, but that's crazy. And it's not probable because I don't think that at this point in the race that Donald Trump would have to be desperate enough. He's only going up in the polls against Biden at this time. So I don't think that that's the thing. And then if you are going to do that, so what we know about this kid so far, besides the fact that he is a registered Republican, we know he's 20 years old. He would have been 21 in September. He's 20 years old, so he's a kid. He has no military experience. I think he was kicked out of some shooting group because he wasn't a good enough shooter. Why would you want that person taking a shot at you? Not only that, AR-15, although it can be accurate from that range, you know what I'm saying? A good shooter can still be pretty accurate from that range. It's not a sniper rifle, though. There are a lot better rifles to use for that situation than an AR-15. So to me, look, as crazy as it is, let's go ahead and look at the footage, man.
A little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Boom. Now, it's crazy. Listen, as crazy as that was, I'm going to go ahead and play with the mute. As crazy as it is to really conceive the fact that someone tried to snipe at an ex-president and just nicked his ear, that is crazy to think about. Of course, it's going to open up all kinds of different theories. But as crazy as that is, remember, like I said before, remember, just really understand what times we're in right now, especially if you subscribe to some type of spiritual ideology, Israelite, Christian, Muslim, and you know we're in the last days and times, and we know that we're in times that we're going to see crazy shit. And some of these things are going to be factual and less believable than if it wasn't factual. So yeah, it's crazy to think that this dude just happened to turn his head right at the right time to evade assassination attempt. Because you see how he turned his head right there, right? Look at, he's looking, look at this. Right there, you see the way his head is turned. If the bullet goes by right now, it goes through his head. Hold on, let me go back actually. Boom, right? So look at it. The way his head is right now, he's done. He turns it just a little bit. Boom. Boom. You know what I'm saying? That little eighth of a turn of his head could have saved his life. I know that's crazy. I know it opens up speculation for all kind of stuff, but you don't really have any facts to prove that it was a hoax. And we have a lot of different information that would suggest that it wasn't, that it really was just some random 20-year-old who just, and look, are we going to pretend that these white 20-year-old incel looking dudes don't be doing the most? We know they do. And it just so happened that this dude was actually a Republican. But listen, I don't know how much into politics y'all are. I pay attention enough to know that there are Republicans that hate Trump, that do not like Trump, that are non-MAGA Republicans. They do exist. And some of them, they're so anti-Trump because they feel like what they believe the Republican Party is really supposed to be about is being disrespected by a Trump. They listen, I'll put it like this. It's almost, you could almost equate it to when we see ratchetness in our community that represents us and people think that that is really us. That's how some of these Republicans feel about Trump. They feel like the principles of the party that they love is being tainted. they feel like what these MAGA Republicans are doing is disrespecting their party, and they see Trump as the puppet master of all of this. So then when you couple that, when you multiply that with the fact that there's a lot of rhetoric that comes from the right that incites violence, that plants the seeds of violence, that stokes fires that are already smoldering. And like I said, sometimes that smoke, that fire, just with the wind change, can come back towards you. I think that's what happened in this case. I think that he really believed in whatever Republican conservative values, and he felt like Donald Trump did not represent that. And I think he got radicalized to the point where he felt that he would do something about it. I think if it was a different type of situation, he might have been taking that shot at a Democrat. But I think in this case, he felt like, well, this represents what we are. I don't really like that. I could only, you know what I'm saying? I can't say for certain. I could only really, be speculative at this point. But apparently that's what it's looking like to me. So then we can go for the second type of process on this situation. We can say that, okay, let's say the Democrats sent them. Let's say Joe Biden sent the hit. That's been going around. I don't think that that's likely either, though. Because I believe that, I mean, listen, if anybody, a high-powered, and you can say like, oh, well, Joe Biden's a mumbling, stumbling, senile fool. He's incompetent. So that's why it didn't go through. No. I mean, let's just be real about it. If the president of the United States wanted someone to take a shot at Trump, all he has to do is tell a couple people. Those couple people are going to set it up. And no matter how incompetent you may feel our government is, our military is not incompetent at all. They're not missing that shot. That is not even a long shot. When I used to train shooting rifles, we would shoot at that distance all the time. That was like standard. We would do it with non-sniper type rifles. With enough practice, you can hit a target. Now, mind you, of course, there's a lot of pressure when it's this type of situation. And there's people yelling, he has a gun and stuff. But I'm just saying, if it came from the top, they would have put somebody in place. First of all, you wouldn't have been using an AR-15. That's not a sniper rifle. Yes, you can hit a target from that far with the AR-15, but you're not going to use that. You're going to go ahead and use a real sniper rifle. You're not going to use a 20-year-old kid who got kicked out of a shooting camp or whatever because he wasn't accurate enough. You're going to use somebody who can make that shot 10 out of 10 times, no matter what. So it doesn't make sense. And I understand why people would think that could be the case because, of course, the Democrats are scrambling right now. They're doing terrible in the polls. That debate made Biden look bad, real bad. So they would have a motive. The motive is there. Like, we got to get this nigga out the game. We've already been trying to get him jailed. We're putting these charges. I get it. Like, there is a reasonable reason. There's a reasonable, you know what I'm saying? I get why people would think that. It's reasonable to conclude that based on what's happening, based on the desperation of the Democratic Party. And they seem like they'll do anything except for really offer tangibles, not just to us, which would be enough because that would be the swing votes. But I mean, they're not really offering tangibles from what a lot of the people are complaining about, except for they're only giving tangibles to immigrants and so forth. So from that regards, I could understand why people would come to the conclusion that it came from the Democrats. I just don't believe it did, because I believe if it did, they would have put somebody to take that shot and to set that whole thing up that wouldn't have missed. I think what we really seen happen, as hard as it may be to believe, it really shouldn't be though, is that some radicalized white boy with a gun, his dad's gun at that, decided to try to be on some extra shit, and it didn't work out for him. That's what I feel it is. And I believe that because we're in the type of times that we're in right now, those kind of things are going to happen. Like, we see it all the time. And the reason why, and I don't even think Trump believes that it came from the Biden. I don't think Trump believes that. And I think it's scarier the fact that it didn't. I mean, it really should be scarier if in Trump's mind or Republicans' mind or anybody's mind, really, it should be scarier that it probably didn't come from a Biden. It should be, it's even worse that some no-name kid, and you know what this really speaks to? It speaks to white supremacy and how white supremacy will crumble on itself and will spite itself just to maintain the idea of white supremacy. What do I mean by that? Think about all the police officers, the white police officers that have been killed by white nationalists. And the white nationalists might have a gun on them and telling you, fuck you, pig, I'll kill you. You better kill me. Whoop-de-whoop. They're doing the most. They're doing things that we can never get away with, pointing guns at the cops or not putting their guns down when they're told 40 times to put their guns down, literally in one case. And because of the white supremacist attitude, the police will take a fade because they would never let us get away with that. So I think the same type of mentality is what we're seeing here. The fact that some kid can grab a ladder and climb on top of a roof. The fact that they were so complacent that they didn't even have that roof situated the way they should have and protected because they felt like, hey, we're in Trump country. We're in Maga country. Everybody here loves them. We don't have to really be as on top of our game. Oh, this white guy can climb up a damn ladder and nobody's stopping him with a gun. Nobody's around to stop it. Because if we're in certain other neighborhoods, they would have been all on that. If they were in Philadelphia or, you know what I'm saying, Chicago or Atlanta, they would have been, the security would have been off the chain. They wouldn't have been so relaxed to allow that to happen. He couldn't have got up on top of a roof within striking distance from an ex-president. They allowed that to happen because they were more complacent, because they were more relaxed, because they felt like they were in good white country. As if white folks don't fucking grab gats and up, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't up rifles on niggas. Like they don't shoot up malls and schools and shit. And then to make it worse, just to show you how this white supremacy works, is you've seen more this on Twitter, man. You've almost seen more blame put on DEI. Oh, that girl that was the Secret Service and she didn't react properly and she was scared. That's a DEI hire. And you know what I'm saying? They're putting it all on that more so than the fact that, yo, this no. The white kid, the white Republican 20-year-old kid tried to snipe your dude. That's where the blame should be, but they're finding ways to blame DEI and all this other shit. They're blaming the fact that there was a woman that was a Secret Service agent. They don't want to look at what it really is. They find different ways to blame the ideologies that they're against. And anytime you will see, and this is why I want to get into like how we should be taking our stance as FBA when it comes to supporting or not supporting Trump or Biden. Because a lot of people, like I'm noticing that people are jumping off the Democrat bandwagon, which is fair. It's actually necessary. I agree with that. And a lot of times what they're doing is now they're just going full-fledged Trump, full-fledged MAGA, full-fledged Republican, which I think is a mistake. Because the reasons that you may have to support Trump are not the same reasons they support Trump. They're not supporting Trump. These white supremacists aren't supporting Trump for the same reason that you may feel Trump is a better option. They're not Republican for the same reason that you may be gravitating that way. They totally different reasons. They don't hate Biden for the same reasons that we may feel we don't like Biden. They're not anti-liberal or democratic for the same legitimate reasons that we may be pivoting away from the Democrats. Their reason for not liking Biden is not because they don't think he's racist enough for them. They know he is. But they feel like he's pandering to us because he'll be on the Black Lives Matter tip trying to get the votes, trying to pander to us. He has what they call black vice president. We may not see her as black. We may not accept her as black, classify her as black. She may not have always classified herself as black, but to them, she's black enough to hate. So that's why they're anti-liberal, anti-democratic, anti-Biden. It's not because the reasons that we have that we're saying he's not doing nothing and he's hurting our communities. They just don't like the optics of what he plays to. That's what you got to understand. They know that he did the Jim Crow shit back in the day. He was all about the segregation and not letting, black people go to schools with whites. They know that he did the crime bill that disproportionately hurt us. They know that. They know he doesn't fuck with us like that. But optically, he panders to us, and that's enough for them to hate. Optically, he has a vice president that is a black woman. And understand this. When you hear them talking DEI, when you hear them, these MAGA alt-rights talking anti-Jewish people, when you hear them talking anti-women misogynistic shit, anti-queer type of shit, just understand that anti-black is also in their arsenal. That is the next clip. If their magazine is loaded with bullets of anti-things they hate, understand that there's a few black ones in there too. So like for FBAs who think that they're going to jump to the Republican side and get a pat on the back, like this dude right here, which I'm about to play, you think you're going to get a pat on the back from these white folks who will let you signal boost their talking points, understand that they know in their mind, they not like us. That's what they're saying. Yeah. You're Republican. You're saying all those good things, but you ain't like us is what they're thinking. The reason why they like the Republican Party and Donald Trump and all that is for different reasons than we may feel that we should support them. So because of that, our support should only go as far as what benefits us. Because of that, don't think that that makes you their friend.
You know, it was a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it. We didn't quibble about it. We didn't argue about it. We didn't fight about it. We killed it.
I guess this is some like pastor. Sounds like he's in the South. A MAGA Trump Republican who's going to talk about how he's basically saying how you got to just kill these lefties and these Democrats. Now understand that Democrat and leftist often is a code word for black people. A lot of times that's the dog whistling that they'll do. Antifa is another one.
Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad.
So when he's saying some liberal, he knows that that is code. He knows that the people he's speaking to, that is code for black people. He thinks he's a special black nigger because he's a Republican, MAGA, alt-right conservative. They'll accept his talking points as long as he's talking that code shit against us. Long as he's talking greasy about who they don't like politically and using those dog whistle code words that really tries to separate him from the rest of us, they'll let it slide to some degree. They'll support it to some degree, but they'll never see him like they see themselves. This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, hey, don't try to jump on that Republican boat like that's really going to save us, like that, you know what I'm saying? Just understand that your support for Republicans or Trump is not the same as theirs. Yes, I understand that shutting down the borders and getting these illegal immigrants out the way benefits us because they're taking our resources and there's new programs being created to give them resources and all that stuff could be going towards us. I get that. A lot of us gravitate more towards the Republican side because we know they're not really pushing that LGBT agenda like the Democrats. I get that. I get the fact that maybe some of us don't like the fact that Biden's giving hundreds of billions of dollars to the Ukraine and Israel, et cetera, when that could be directed towards us. I get that. But those aren't specifically towards us. Not pushing the LGBT doesn't specifically benefit us. Them getting immigrants out the way and not giving illegals our resources and taxpayer dollars, that doesn't specifically only exclusively benefit us. That's something that's going to come with the territory regardless. But what I'm saying is their reasons for supporting Trump and the Republicans is different than what ours may be. Understand that before you think that you're about to start tap dancing and soft shoeing to get a pat on the back, pat on the head from these Republicans as you start to demonstrate that you don't like the lefties and the liberals and the Democrats and all that. There's no partisan that FBA should be practicing, period. No partisanship should be practiced by FBAs. That's the level up politically that we need. Yes, we've been on the Democratic tip for way too long, ain't got nothing for it. But to just now jump on the Republican side, and they're not even addressing us specifically with benefits, that just means all we're doing is jumping from one slave master to the next. We're jumping from one plantation to the next. And if they see that, that's a bad look. Because if they see that we're willing to do that without even being offered any benefits, why are they going to be incentivized to do something for us? In my mind, the best move is just to stop playing the game. That lets the Democrats know we ain't fucking with them no more. It lets the Republicans know we ain't fucking with them anymore. But it also lets them know that if they want our support and our vote, they got to bring something to the table. We're not messing with the Democrats because they didn't bring nothing to the table. Well, if you want us, you got to bring something to the table. And the way that could work is no matter what side loses this election, if they lose by a margin that could have been covered by the swing states and the black votes, then they know, whether they do it or not, it's a whole different thing, but they know that playing to our demands could put them back in power. That's why vote the couch is a strategy that could be effective, but not just turning towards the Republicans and giving them your support for nothing.
Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad. We killed it on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it. We didn't quibble about it. We didn't argue about it. We didn't fight about it. We killed it. Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad. Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it. It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not a matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity. It's time to call out those guys in green and go have them handled.
So he's basically calling for, if necessary, the murder of liberals and Democrats, which is in alt-right minds, that really means disproportionately us, because they see us as being the ones who, to be real, have been disproportionately supporting Democrats. So if alt-right conservative white supremacists go on a kill Democrat tangent, if on a whole campaign of eliminating liberals, leftists, Democrats, and they know we disproportionately support Democrats, even though our support has been declining, then they would have a better ratio if they hit us first. And matter of fact, that's what they would do anyway. You understand that, right? So he's basically stoking the fires in his wannabe support for the Republican right-wing conservative views. In him doing so to this white audience, I don't see not one black person in the damn crowd. He's basically stoking the fires that are going to disproportionately come against us. That's why you can't play with this partisan shit the same way that they do, because they don't see it the same. I'm not telling you not to support Trump if that's who you want to support. I'm not saying there's not even reasons to do so. I'll be honest with you. Fuck it. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I don't plan on voting for either of them. If I had to vote one side or the other, I would probably go Trump. I ain't gonna lie. Just because Biden is that damn bad. Just because the Democrats ain't did shit for us and I want to see them crash and burn. But I just can't commit to that until I hear something or see something that would directly benefit us. I would rather vote the couch, let it play out the way it's going to play out, because that would probably play out for Trump anyway. But it would also show, that we aren't trying to even play the game unless we're offered something. I think that that's a better strategy. I would like to see us just withdraw from even voting, period, even though I know that that's not going to happen, because that would send a signal to both parties that, hey, if you want our vote, if you want our support, you got to bring something to the table like you do for everybody else. I think that in the long run, that would be a better strategy. But just jumping on the side, shilling for either side, just shilling for Democrats just to shill for them, and that's dangerous, because you're only incentivizing their benign neglect of not doing something for us, because they ain't did shit for us at this point. And if you're just going to keep supporting them, why should they? And if you're going to jump to the other side, you're going to jump to the Republican side, and they ain't even offered us anything. Why would they play it any different than the Democrats played it? You know what I'm saying? So back to what I was saying, though, when it comes to even this situation, look how many times we're putting DEI. They want to blame the fact that it's a woman that did it. There's a woman that was, a Secret Service, and that left Trump in problem. Look at this right here. Male Secret Service urgent protect and men and female Secret Service agents something like that. That's an idea. Okay. There's other memes where they're talking about how she's not qualified. This is DEI hires. Well, listen, when they say DEI, they typically mean us. In this case, they might be saying anti-women type of shit. But when they get misogynistic, when they get anti-Jewish, just understand the next chamber is anti-us. Matter of fact, what else I seen was who Trump picked for a vice president. Let me see if I can find it. He's married to an Asian chick, an Indian chick, and MAGA all right are losing their mind behind it. No, this ain't, saying in like very racist ways. They're just like, yo, how's this going to help white America when you got the vice president? That's what I'm saying. Like, some of these Republicans don't really like Trump. They don't think that he's racist enough. I can't find it. They don't think he's racist enough. You know what I'm saying? So to them, it's like, he's not really down with what we need him to be down with. So if they'll turn against Trump and or his vice president because he's married to an Asian chick, how do you think they're going to feel about us? I'm saying this is chess. This is 4-dimensional chess that we're playing right now. Play it properly. Plot out your moves sophisticatedly. Because like I said, the reason we might support Republicans or Trump is not the same reason they will. You have to understand that before you go out there making yourself look like an ass, trying to get a pat on the head from these cats. But when you contrast some of the stuff with this garbage right here, I get, you know what I'm saying? Like, the reason why we're starting to pull away from these Democrats. I mean, Biden is no one to vote for, y'all. Oh God, oh my God. The fuck. Yo, listen, man. I mean, like, we know that ain't the move right there. So I get it why people are pivoting. We know that ain't the move. You know what I'm saying? On top of the fact that he is a bigot who has actually look, I listen, these are two old ass white dudes. I assume they're both racist. That don't mean that they hate black people. But I assume they're both racist and they're both willing to uphold white supremacy. That's no doubt about that. But only one of them has actually put policies for the past several decades that specifically targeted us. Only one of them has done that. And then that same person is also obviously senile. Let me address something that's in the chat from Clout Chaser Olympics. He said, here's the thing. There's no paperwork saying she killed anybody. It's starting to look like her story was for exposure. I don't know if that's true. She said herself, just going by her words, she had court coming up. Other people reported the same thing. She said herself that she did it. Now, if this was just for exposure, it goes back to the same principle that I started this broadcast with. And that is, especially the times we're living in now, some of that energy that you put out, like you're still putting out that energy. You're still putting out the idea. You know what I'm saying? That, you can kill somebody and brag about it and then taunt them and their family. That's still an energy you're putting out regardless. And because the result was her getting offed, I gotta assume that maybe what she said was true, or I have to assume that she's putting out energy in publicly like that. Who knows what she's doing in her private life? If she's willing to be that disrespectful, who knows what else she's doing in these streets? Who knows what kind of game she's playing with people in these streets? So, you know what I'm saying? My stance is the same. I mean, because I don't believe that somebody just randomly just did that for no reason. Just upstrapped down on her at her opening up a black business. That's probably going to feed black families. I don't believe that somebody just randomly for no reason did that. What I do know about her up to this point, okay, we don't know if she really did what she said she did, what other people have reported she did. We don't, maybe I don't know factually if that happened, but what I do know is that she's willing to be very disrespectful, very divisive for clicks, for attention. That's what I do know. And I do know, especially in times like this that we're living in, where things are accelerating, things are happening. Like, you seen what happened? Cat Williams set off the year exposing all the puppets and all the plants in the industry. And then we seen, you know what I'm saying? We're seeing this thing go down right now. Kendrick Drake, he destroyed the biggest rap plant we've ever seen because of the grassroots. So we're seeing a shaking up of the status quo. Trump is dodging bullets like the Matrix. As incredible as that seems, we're seeing that, this year is something different. And really, we've seen this since 2019, if you think about it. I remember when we were in 2019, everybody, if you remember, think about how in 2019, how everybody was like, damn, we can't wait for 2020. 2020 is going to be the year. It can't be worse than 2019. 2020 is the year. And then 2020 came in on some bullshit. And we have just seen the acceleration of fuckery and the breaking down of the status quo and things that have been changing in our lives like never before, things we can't go back to. So to me, I understand, I see that as this world is going through a change. Like, and think about it. They've been ruling. This white supremacist system has been ruling for centuries. We have to know it's going to end at some point. We have to, because they're sabotaging it themselves, their ego. White supremacy is a system that can't sustain with truth being out there. The idea of white supremacy crumbles just with truth, just with critically thinking, just with facts. The only way it really preserves itself is that it's able to be deceitful to the whole world. Because people now try to deny it exists. But, you know, this stuff starts coming crashing down. We're in a whole different world now. We're in a energy shift. We're in a spiritual shift. We're shifting back to what it's supposed to be, maybe. And if that's happening, we're going to see things that are going to seem incredible. The energy is going to change. The sun is burning shit up. Global warming's happening. Now they're trying to admit that there may be aliens out there. They're finding different planets. Like shit is changing, and it has to. So if these things are happening, we're going to see certain things. Certain things shouldn't surprise us at this point. We shouldn't always feel it's a hoax when some type of, you know what I'm saying, weather system fucks up a whole city or some shit like that. We shouldn't, oh, that's just has to be hard. Nah, man. They're playing the way they've been playing with Mother Nature for all these years. You don't think that there's going to be some ramifications or some things are going to happen? So anyway, back to what you're saying about it being just maybe something they're doing for clicks. Regardless, if you're playing with that type of energy, that energy is going to play back. And the fact that she got unalived like she did in broad daylight, somebody really had it in for her. So obviously that energy she's playing with, she took it too far because somebody came, you know, somebody spun the block on her regardless. And I don't think it's just because they're hating because she's opening up a store. No, somebody wanted her out of here for some reason. The only reason that I could speculate because of what I've seen is that, yeah, she was playing with people that were gone. Because that's a cold rollout. You can have a rollout that I'm going to pretend that I killed my ex and then I'm going to troll him and his family and smoke on my ex pack and all that. That doesn't even sound like a reasonable rollout for a booty shake rapper. She's about shaking booty and being fly and, you know what I'm saying, being on that sexy shit. Why would she even try to roll out on some smoking nigga shit? But even if that was the rollout and if it was what you're saying, it's still not a good look. She's a female playing with this masculine, violent energy. And it came back. Anyway, I don't want to take too long because I don't got that much time, but let me see if I got anything else I want to share with y'all, man, before I get up out of here. I don't really got time to, honestly. Oh, here's another game that they're playing, though. Let me just show you this. Felony convictions. Baby's mama doesn't pay taxes. Been shot. Trump blacker than Obama. So this is one of these games that they're playing. Like this is real psychological what's going down. So on one hand, they want our support and they want to troll us and really disrespect us. Because I've seen, like, I think it was in Forbes, they're saying, like, does Donald Trump being shot make him more, will that get more black support? So so what that shows you is this is what they think of black people, right? If they want to use stuff like this, you know what I'm saying? He rolled out the shoes, the golden shoes. And oh, yeah, black people are like, that's a cultural thing. That's those black guys, they really love their shoes. They love their sneakers. So, yeah, he has felony convictions. He can relate to black people now, as if most of us are fucking felons. Well, he has baby mamas, and he doesn't pay his taxes either. He's been shot. These are the kind of things that he's blacker than Obama. So that lets you know that they look at us as the lowest denomination, as that's the representative of all of us. Unfortunately, some of these tellers do the same thing. Unfortunately, somebody like Myron, for instance, Myron and Sneeko, tethers, they really believe that most black people don't work hard. They've said it several times. This is the lowest denomination, which is used to represent all of us. And in this case, They think that that's going to make Trump more attractive to us because he's been shot and doesn't pay taxes and has baby mamas and felony convictions. That shows you the lack of respect they truly have for us, which is another reason why we shouldn't just be jumping on the Trump Republican train willy-nilly, and especially publicly, because we play into this shit. And then all that does is give the Republicans leverage to do us just how the Democrats been doing. So all we're going to be really doing is plantation jumping. Look, I'm not saying to support the Democrats. I 100% ain't saying that. I'm not saying to support Biden because he hasn't given us a reason to. I understand why taking a look at the Republican Party and Donald Trump at this time seems like it's the move. I'm not even saying don't do that. What I'm saying is strategically don't publicly commit to either side. Be prepared to sit this one out if neither side is going to fuck with us like that. If they ain't fucking with us the long way, we don't need to fuck with them the long way. Let both sides know that we are that swing vote. You pander to the LGBT, which is only like 1% of the population. You pander to immigrants. A lot of them can't even vote. You pander to Jewish people. They're a very small percent of the population. You pander to all these other groups that don't even have the numbers we have. Well, we're saying the same way you offer them shit, you need to offer us something, or we don't even want to play the game. And whatever side loses, we'll know that that deficit could have been made up had they got our support. The reason why we may consider voting for Republicans is not the same reason that these alt-rights do. So you're not brethren with them because now you are looking at the Republican Party as an option. It's good that you are. It's good that you're turning away from the Democrats, but don't think that your reason is the same as theirs. Because all you're going to do is jump and be a plantational slave for the Republican Party the same way most of us are for Democratic parties. And I'm saying we need to be free and liberate ourselves from both parties. That's what I'm saying. Shout out. What's up, Jesse? I see you, man. Let's get into some of this. Yeah, B1 FBI Denver, Colorado in the building. Salute. Yeah, Antifa, BLM. Those are some of the code words that they use against us. That's what I'm saying. We gotta play this game with more strategic, with more strategy. I'm not against turning our backs on the Democrats and considering the Republicans. All I'm saying is let's not do it thinking that they're going to accept us or thinking that their support for the Republican conservative, because most of us are conservatives, really. When it comes to social justice, we're more liberal and progressive because we want to see social justice progress. But when it typically comes to things like LGBT or family structure or things of that nature, we're more conservative. Abortion. Most black people are not supporters of abortion. So that aligns with, that aligns with more of the right Republican way of thinking. But just keep in mind that a lot of these MAGAs, they're really only Republican because to them, Republican represents the good old white ways. MAGA, make America great again. What they're saying in that is, and I've seen like interviews when they say make America great, they're talking about before slavery was abolished. Great. They're saying when you couldn't drink from the water fountain with them, great. They're saying when they could just publicly just call you a nigga and nothing would happen to them, great. They're talking about when you couldn't even eat in the same restaurant with them, great. They're talking when you couldn't even bring a court case against them, great. So their ideologies and their reasons for supporting it and what they feel the Republican right conservative represents is something different for them than us. That's what I'm saying. one plantation to the next, other than getting the hell off of both plantations. Shout out Shane Nkrumah for that. Tangibles 2024. I wish I had more time. I'd play you this. Maybe I'll do it later. I wanted to react to this Teamster in the RNC. The president of the Teamsters Union did a speech that I thought was pretty dope. He was very nonpartisan. He didn't commit to the Republicans, but what he was saying, he was speaking for the average everyday workers, and he stayed on code. So I wanted to kind of show you that. Maybe I will later, but that's what this codification means, man. It is not time to start getting up, waving the banner for Republicans. Nah, we're going to see who brings something to the table. It's getting critical. We're in July right now. I believe the ballots get cast in November, so it's like 4 months before voting time. And right now, what we have to do is we have to stand on our square and let them both know that we do not commit to either, and pressure them. Because this, you know, it looks like it's going in Trump's favor, but it might tighten up until then. Let both parties know, because our vote would solidify either party. So us pulling back lets them know, hey, man, nah, all these symbolisms ain't going to work. Trump getting shot ain't going to make niggas vote for him. Fuck all that. Trump having babies, mamas ain't going to make us vote for him. Putting out sneakers ain't going to make us vote for him. Joe Biden saying goofy shit like this right here ain't going to make us vote for him. All that dumb shit. You don't vote for me, you ain't black. Oh, we lowered the medicine cost for diabetes, and that's going to disproportionately help y'all niggers. That's not going to get it. That ain't going to get it. So we can't show for either side. We want real tangibles that's going to benefit us. If we don't get them, we don't even have to participate. Let them know. Because I guarantee you, whatever the deficit is and whoever wins or loses this election, it could have been made up by us. If the Democrats came out right now and said, hey, you know what, we're going to start redirecting some of that money that we've been giving to immigrants and foreign nations to the black communities for entrepreneur development, for some type of stimulus, UBI, which has worked. You could actually ask the moderator, Jesse Paris, a.k.a. Shane Nkrumah. They did it in his city. It was successful. I don't think they did it directly for blacks, but I'm saying those type of things actually are good for the community. So when they start making promises that can directly affect us, okay, for maybe we're going to let 1,000 black families go to school for free, vocational school, something. If they can't offer us anything tangible, then we don't really need to mess with them. But whoever loses this election are going to have to consider different things that they could do for us. And whatever it is, guess what? It should come from us. Honestly, we should be telling them what we want. As demanding as much as reparations, but there's a lot of different things that come before reparations that could go specifically to help us and our communities. And if we don't start making those demands now, we'll never start to make them, and we'll never get them. And we're too late in the game to not be making these type of demands. Other demographic groups don't just vote for no reason. They vote because there's something in it for them, not just a bunch of talking words, not just a bunch of lift-off programs that might benefit them disproportionately, but doesn't directly and exclusively benefit them. So it ain't time to start jumping on the MAGA train. We got to hold steady and stay on code and make them bend towards our will to get our support. That goes with any side. If we don't learn to play the game like that, if we don't elevate our sophistication in politics, we ain't gonna get there. But we will get there, though. Believe that. We got brothers and sisters that are getting more politically activated. Another thing that we have to do is start supporting and running our own candidates and our own political figures, like the good brother in the chat, Jesse Parrish, is doing. We need more of that going on, more support of that. We need to be more sophisticated with our demands and how we use or don't use our vote. Black people died. Our ancestors died for our right to vote. That's a fact. I'll never deny that. That is a fact. Like literally, they did. And now that we got it, now that that is a power, now that as a tool that we can yield, we can also yield that just as strategically by pulling back our vote. Because even though some ancestors did actually die for our right to vote, they were dying for our right to vote because that represented a tool that we could use for progress, not just the vote itself. But it represented a tool that we could use for our progress. And sometimes using our vote strategically means not voting. And in this case, in my opinion, that's exactly what it means. It means making them commit to give us a reason to vote. That's just me, though. And I really gotta shake the spot. I gotta move around a little bit. I gotta get in motion. But thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. This weekend, I'll have some more time to do a live, and I want to really do a panel. I want to bring other people in, and we can talk about all kinds of different things and chop it up. Maybe I'll reach out to what's that, Key and Set and Key Media. You know what I'm saying? So we can have a talk with one of our non-FBA brethrens and see what we can come up with. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Peace.